But Joel, there are some changes over at the parks.
Oh, please explain this to
So,
me, Obed.
all
Please
right.
explain this to me.
So you know how much everyone hates Genie Plus because I've said it. Like for me, it's like NFTs, Genie Plus as the biggest
Oh
scams
my
ever.
goodness. Oh no.
So Genie Plus, dude, that was a scam. You have to like buy it in the morning, and then you buy it, and
Yeah,
then by the
yeah.
time you go to the rides to pick your ride, everything's gone because you had to spend 15 minutes trying to check out on the app, and then so so they changed it. So okay. Also, guys, can you get? I think, Joe. I think that there are very qualified people out there that can write instructions on how things work. Uh, uh, because I had to read through like
Oh
the
yeah.
thing like
It's a
three
lot.
times, right? Okay, here's my understanding of Lightning Link Plus. It is basically Fast Pass Plus is back,
Okay.
but you pay for it.
Okay.
If you're staying at a Disney resort, you can purchase it 7 days in advance and start booking your rides. If you have a regular ticket, my understanding is that you have 3 days in advance to start book and to purchase and then start booking your stuff. Right? There's two tiers. There's two tiers for the rides. Um, so there's like a top tier, like an e-ticket kind of ride that you can pick one, and then you can pick two of the other rides when you book, right? As far as I know, there are still some rides that you can only purchase an individual Lightning Link for, like Rise of the Resistance, for example,
So crazy, bro. This
which
is
is
crazy.
insane again, right?
I'm
But
sorry.
I think that it's a way better product that Genie Plus was, because you have
Yeah.
time now to
Yeah.
purchase in advance. Um, a point of controversy, Joel. I don't know if you heard this. This is only available for U.S. residents. Like if
Interesting.
you're coming from outside the U.S., you cannot purchase this. They're
That's a
do
huge
they're
market,
I
dude.
think they're doing the Japan thing. Like if you live
Wow.
in Japan, you have certain perks that tourists don't get.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that
So
was a thing in Japan, to be honest with
yeah,
them.
well,
With Disney Japan.
so so yeah, I think it's better. Um, just to give you an example, I'm gonna go through the like example rides here. So they're calling it the multipass, which is very interesting. And let's see. I just want to see the tiers. Okay, yeah. So, like Magic Kingdom, say for example, right? I understand Magic Kingdom's too. They got too much crap there. All right, let's do Epcot. So Epcot, like their e-ticket rights are gonna be Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Frozen Ever After, and Soarin'. No Guardians. Looks like that one's staying on Virtual Queue, which I think is smart. And then your tier two rides are gonna be Journey into Imagination, Living with the Land, Mission Space, Spaceship Earth, Seas with Nemo, Turtle Talk, and the Pixar Short Film Festival. So that's an example of what um, the selections are, right? So
Okay.
you would expect like Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, like the Millennium Falcon. Those rides are your e-ticket rides. You can pick one of those, and then you can pick and you can pick like Star Tours and I don't know, the alien swirling saucers, the worst ride at Disney. I don't know. You know what? I think.
I like aliens swirling
I think the
saucers.
worst ride at Disney World is the go
It's a
karts at
short
Magic
line.
Kingdom, the
Oh
Speedway. That's
yeah.
the worst ride
Yeah.
at Disney World.
Speedway
Yeah,
needs to be updated.
yeah, that needs to be for sure. Yeah,
Janky and
um, and it smells awful and it's
smells awful. I still
noisy.
do it. I still have fun. I do everything at
Man,
Disney.
I try to
But I
avoid it
it
as
needs an
much as I
update.
can.
Needs an
Yeah.
update.
Um, but yeah, so that's an example, right? I think this is better than what they had before. It's not
Yeah.
perfect. It's better. Um, there's no pricing. Speculation is that it's going to be around the same as what Genie Plus was. Um,
Yeah.
and there's no pricing on the single on the single ones either. So
Which will probably be a moving target depending on the ride.
yeah, well, it's a moving
Disney will,
it's a moving rate. Yeah, yeah, it's
right?
dynamic pricing. So
It
it
has to
depends
be.
on the date and it depends on the ride, right? So
That's
um,
crazy.
but I do think that this is a much needed change, dude. Like Genie Plus was so bad. I don't like you have to like be like
Oh, it was
real
bad.
like that
Yeah,
was like like top tier Chapek stuff because that was like who greenlit this thing? Like, and I know that Josh was in charge of parks, but Chapek's the one that called shots back then when this was implemented, and I it was not good. It was just
yeah.
it's never been good.
I know.
And my wife
No,
asked me when we went to Epcot last time, and she was like, "Hey,
sure.
so Genie Plus is like, no, I'm not gonna get it. It's a scam. Scam. I'm
You'll
not
be
gonna
mad. Like, yeah. Don't waste your time.
let me book Guardians. That's all I care about. That's what I told her. It's like, hey, are you gonna get? It's like, no, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna try and book Guardians, and that's all I care about. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what I did, right?
yeah.
Um, but now, I when I go to studios, I'm planning to go studios the end of July. Um, I'll see how much it is, and if it's worth it, right? I may add it just for studios. I'm not gonna add it for Magic Kingdom because there's a lot of things to do at Magic Kingdom, and you know I was asking my daughter, I was like, hey, you want to go when you go to Magic Kingdom? What do you want to do? It's like, well, I want to do everything that I haven't done. I was like, okay, well that's fair, right? Um, so you know, but the things that she hasn't done are the smaller ones: the Treehouse, Tiki Room, Country Bears,
Yeah.
Laugh Floor, Astro Orbiters. So that's great, right?
You don't need
I
that.
don't need
Yeah.
it, right? And then if we find time, we go to the mine card and we call it a day, whatever.
Love that.
But for studios, right? Because studios are, for some reason, well, and I know the reason why. It's like Rock and Roller Coaster has been down for almost a year. They reopen July 27th, I think, and that's a ride that puts a lot of people through quickly, and it's been closed, and that's why the lines are usually like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm saving it up for studios if that's the case. But I think it's a good change. I think it's a good change. Again, not perfect, but a step in the right direction, which leads to the next story, and it's that Bob made a comment earlier this week saying that we may know who the successor is by the end of the year of the
Oh
not the fiscal
snap.
year, the end of the calendar year, the end of 2024. We would know who the successor would be. Uh, he would still stay until 2026 to ensure a smooth transition and not go through what they did last time because they want to make sure that the person they pick is the right person. So, um, yeah, there's and there's the usual suspects, right? The we got the Fantastic Four, I guess, um, which are Alan Bergman, Josh D'Amaro, Dana Walden, and Jimmy Pitaro. So Bergman, the rumor is that Dana Walden's the favorite. Walden and Bergman, they run studios. Um, of course, D'Amaro runs parks, and Pitaro. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pitaro is the
ESPN.
CFO, ESPN. Yeah,
ESPN. Yeah.
ESPN. So I think, honestly speaking, right, if you would ask me, right, based on how studios have performed in the last 4 years, um, theme parks being at this time their biggest um, income maker, I think Josh Damar is the obvious choice, but I wouldn't count out Pitaro because I think Pitaro has done a great job with ESPN. Like he knows what people want, and he's been able to attempt to evolve the network as times have changed. Right? We all know, like you and I are in the know. The viewership dropped 50% in the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
But they've embraced technology, and they've put, they've been streaming for many years. Like ESPN2 content's been out there, and I think they've been able to evolve their business to where they're able to keep the audience engaged. Um, but I think Josh is well liked. I've I've heard that he's a nice guy. I don't know, but what do you think, man? What's gonna happen here?
I am not, there's not one candidate out of your, like you said, Fantastic Four here that I feel extremely passionate behind, to be very honest with you.
I agree
Um,
with you.
does that mean that that none of these people could do a good job? I'm not saying that. I don't know that. You don't know that till the person's in that position. There's concerns for each of them for very specific reasons, right? Like if you go down the list between Bergman and Dana, like those are the ones that I have probably the biggest concerns with, just purely because of what we're seeing on the Disney film side. There's a lot on TV side. Seems to be a lack of creativity. There seems to be a lack of being in touch with what consumers want. There's some concerns around what's being greenlit on that side of things, and that doesn't mean that those people, maybe they're getting a little bit of a bad rap, and there's more to the story than what we're seeing on the front lines. But just looking at the faces and what's under their umbrellas is why I'm saying that those two give me the biggest concerns. Jimmy, here's the thing about Jimmy. I think I think ESPN is not going to stay with Disney long term. And that's something
I
that
made a I
like
made a
there's
prediction about that.
you made
Remember?
a prediction about that, right? So if Jimmy comes in and does it, is this like a farewell to ESPN, but like, hey, you get to stay with, I don't know. I don't know how that fully works if he steps into it. ESPN has had an extreme drop in viewership over these last few years because people just don't watch regular television the way they used to. That was something that from millennials and beyond was kind of like a thing that started to phase out a little bit, and so news based like sports news, especially like most people are going to go to social media before they go and turn on ESPN, and that's just because of the nature of the beast, not because ESPN's doing a horrible job. It's just because of how the beast has become in turn. But there has been a lot of concerns around also just some decisions ESPN has made on some of their content to try and keep themselves relevant.
Right.
So I feel I almost put him similarly, not the same, but in a similar placement as both Dana and Al and Bergman, really. And that leaves you with Josh. And then like Josh is probably the person that I would put the closest level of like, hey, I think he's probably should be the one to get the job. But even with him, parks have not been anything of what they used to be. You look at the Galactic Star Cruiser, a lot of that was his baby. A lot of that, like, there's different things that he has had that have been absolute flops on the park side that he has been the front face of. Again, does that mean that he gets a bad rap because there's other pieces that are not just him, but because it's
Right.
under his umbrella? Probably. But it's like out of all of them, I probably give him the more of the nod because the parks give them more revenue than television and some of these other things. And I feel like he'd play things a lot more safe than being more. And you see it with the parks, like with the rides and stuff that they're doing.
Right.
They're not taking risks that like they used to do.
No.
They're not trying to come at Universal and being like, we're gonna build this new state of the art coaster, whatever thing. They're like, no, we'll just give you you know, another
Another
same thing we've
IP
seen
thing.
before. Right, another IP. Like
We'll
so
give you
something like
nothing like at Epcot.
whoa. Obed wants the water fountains. He loves
I
his
want
water
the
fountain.
water fountain. I want
He loves
interventions
his
back. I want the water fountains back. I want it back. Bring it
yelling
back.
at the sky, my water fountains. No, Josh, I think could be the one that out of all of them would be the same, but I don't feel excited about any of them, Obed. I would love to see another
Yeah.
dark horse come in here. That would be someone I'd like more, but that's just how these things go.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, who's out there that could like
Right.
who's out there doing like transformative stuff?
Well,
Like,
Adam Silver, but he's not leaving.
I don't think he is. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
ain't leaving.
I don't think he is, man.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. I mean, Tim Cook.
And he's not
and
leaving.
he's
Why
not
would
leaving.
he would buy Disney before he leaves
Right,
Apple?
right. It goes
That's what's
back
gonna
to my
happen first.
prediction. Yeah.
Right. You would have to sell buy the company.
Right. Um, I
I
don't
am
like.
Disney
I
at
don't
that
think. I don't think
point.
there's anyone at Microsoft right now that's purely like transformative. Transformative, but I mean,
I know.
it's tough,
Maybe.
right? It's like the we for a moment there we had a really good run with really good like business people that were really focused on transformational approaches to their companies, and now it's like the one that we had we lost. We went nuts, going crazy on that ketamine, and then you know
Mm,
that's that that's how that was about it, right? But
yeah.
unless you bring someone from, I don't know, from another country, like you can bring someone from, like I would say, like if Reggie wasn't that old, Reggie
Oh yeah.
Fils-Aimé,
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
that like he would be perfect.
Oh, for sure.
Like so,
I
like, you
know.
need because he was the transformational guy for Nintendo, right? And
Cut from a different cloth, man.
right,
That's different.
and that's the sort of guy that you need. Um,
No.
Sean Layden's out there from PlayStation. He's
Interesting.
still not that old, and I think he did a great job at PlayStation. I think that PlayStation played politics with him, and he left because of
Mm.
that. But he's been out there making some really good, like being very outspoken about stuff and being like, it's time that we transform this thing, right? Like they could bring someone from a video game. Don't bring Bobby Kotick. Don't. That would be the worst that you can do, right? Like, dude, bring Bobby Kotick. I would never go to the park as long as he's the CEO. I swear, that like straight up. Like, don't bring someone like that. Um, but you have to start looking um at other businesses and looking for that person, right? That can take your business, and I think that Disney does have an incredible business model that is definitely not easy to manage. But I know that there's people out there that are more than happy to take on that challenge, especially in the video game industry. Um, you don't necessarily need to hire again internally. You can go to, like, why not bring
That's what I'm hoping.
one of the
Yeah.
people from Japan, from the Tokyo parks,
I
like
know.
like
I
they're
would love
that
that.
they're operating really
I
well,
would,
have it run
yes.
like a Japanese company, cut the fat and streamline
I know.
revenue. That's
Just
all
something
you need,
different. That's what
man.
I want. A dark horse like that. Something that's like, okay,
Someone to come in and do something big and new and fresh,
yeah.
because that's the problem that they're having. So yeah, well, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, out of the four, out of the Fan Four Stick, Josh is the,
If I have to pick one,
yeah. If I had to pick one,
that's the guy.
yeah. But we shall see.